We love not just with our hearts, but with our inner state, how self-perception shapes the way we love. When we think about love, we often imagine it as something purely emotional, something that happens in the heart, spontaneous and beyond reason. We talk about falling in love like it's a mysterious force that strikes us unexpectedly. While love certainly has its emotional side, the way we experience and express it is deeply connected to something much more internal, our inner state. That includes our self-perception, emotional stability, personal history, and mental well-being. In truth, people don't just love with their hearts, they love with their entire inner world. The way we view ourselves, the way we've been treated in the past, the wounds we carry, and the stories we believe about love all shape how we give and receive it. Love doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's filtered through our emotional lens, and that lens can either clarify or distort what love becomes. Self-perception, the mirror through which love reflects. How we see ourselves plays a massive role in how we approach relationships. If you believe you're worthy of love, you're more likely to enter relationships with openness, confidence, and balance. You don't cling, you don't chase, you don't settle. You trust that love, when real, will find its way, and that you are deserving of it. But if your self-image is damaged, if you carry deep insecurity, shame, or feelings of unworthiness, love becomes more complicated. You might fear abandonment and become overly dependent. You might believe you don't deserve better and tolerate mistreatment. Or you might push people away because you're convinced they'll leave eventually. We often think our relationships are about the other person, but much of the time they're actually about how we feel about ourselves. That inner dialogue, those hidden beliefs, can silently guide every choice we make in love. Emotional condition. Are you loving from wholeness or from wounds? Everyone has emotional baggage. That's part of being human. But whether that baggage is unpacked, understood, and managed makes all the difference. People who have done the work to process their past, face their pain, and build emotional resilience tend to love more freely and healthily. They don't expect their partner to complete them. They want companionship, not a crutch. On the other hand, when people love from a place of unhealed trauma or emotional instability, their relationships often become battlegrounds. The smallest disagreements feel like threats. Emotional needs go unspoken or become overwhelming. Fear drives behaviors like jealousy, control, or withdrawal. Loving from wounds often leads to a cycle of seeking validation or avoiding vulnerability. But love doesn't grow well in fear-based soil. It thrives in emotional safety, communication, and mutual understanding, all of which require a degree of inner peace. Why we love. Motives matter more than we think. The reasons we seek out love can also be shaped by our inner world. Some people enter relationships out of joy, companionship, and a desire to build something meaningful. Others do it to fill a void, escape loneliness, or distract themselves from inner emptiness. There's a huge difference between loving because you want to share your life and loving because you need someone to make it bearable. The first comes from emotional abundance. The second comes from scarcity. This doesn't mean we need to be perfect or emotionally invincible before we deserve love. It just means that our motives matter. Being honest with ourselves about why we want love, what we're hoping it will give us, can prevent a lot of heartbreak down the road. The impact of past relationships and conditioning. Our emotional blueprint is shaped early on. Childhood experiences, family dynamics, and past romantic relationships all influence how we learn to love. If you grew up in a home where love was conditional or chaotic, you might now associate love with anxiety or control. If past partners mistreated or betrayed you, you might carry mistrust or emotional walls into new relationships. This is why inner work is so important. The past may explain us, but it doesn't have to define us. If we're not aware of the emotional patterns we've inherited, we'll unconsciously repeat them, and then we'll call it fate or bad luck in love when really it's an unresolved pattern asking to be healed. Loving with your inner state in mind means asking, am I loving from fear or from freedom? Am I acting on old wounds or current truth? Emotional self-awareness creates emotional safety. Healthy love requires more than chemistry. It requires emotional safety, and that begins with emotional self-awareness. When you're in touch with your triggers, needs, and boundaries, you create a stable space where intimacy can deepen. People who are emotionally grounded are better able to sophisticate clearly without manipulation or fear. Healthy boundaries without guilt. Healthy bound defensiveness. Stay present during conflict instead of spiraling into past trauma. And most importantly, they're able to receive love without sabotaging it. Inner peace makes space for true connection. One of the most powerful gifts you can give someone is a peaceful presence, and that peace comes from within. When your inner world is calm, not perfect, but conscious, you don't need someone to fix you. You don't panic at the thought of losing them. You love them fully, but not desperately. This kind of love allows for mutual growth, trust, and emotional freedom. It's not based on possession or fear. It's rooted in connection and shared purpose. But you can't build that kind of love if you're constantly at war with yourself. Final thought. Love begins where you are. We often think love is about finding the right person, but just as importantly, it's about being the right person, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When your inner state is aligned, your relationships naturally improve. You stop chasing what doesn't serve you. You recognize healthy love. You stop mistaking emotional chaos for passion. So yes, we love with our hearts, but also with our histories, our beliefs, our wounds, and our healing. If you want better love, the journey doesn't start with finding someone new. It starts with going inward. Because the most lasting love stories are written by people who first made peace with themselves.